Welcome to 2017 whenever it comes to reviews. This is the first of the year, not to mention the first under our brand new ranking system, which will be explained a little bit later on in this very video. But Sepultura with Machine Messiah. This is our first review of the year, and it's from a band whose material post-Cavalara has certainly drawn some criticism, but has also yielded some fairly decent results. It's something where these albums have sometimes taken on a life of their own, some of them bordering on a little bit more of an alternative sound, while others retaining that hard edge that you have been familiarized by the band. Either way, it still doesn't feel like it totally matches up with some of their early career classics. Now, Machine Messiah is a disc that's able to really combine some of those elements, but does one thing that really aids it a little bit here in 2017. And you can see this by the 10-track main album. This is one that also comes with 2 bonus tracks. One is only a minute 17 in length, so okay. But let's talk about the main 10 songs, starting off with the title track, Machine Messiah, which kind of enters you into this world with a almost doom/alternative laden riff, and you hear this within the clean singing that you get, almost moaning these lyrics throughout this opening numbers more than 5 minutes. It's one that certainly kind of leaves you wondering what the entirety of this album is going to really hold, what the scope is. Is this an accurate representation of what we're going to be getting with this disc, or is it instead just something that it's its own individual idea to really sort of set up any sort of themology or set up any sort of musical direction that this disc was about to employ? And the real answer to that question is more so along the lines of individual idea, or almost bookend real philosophy, considering the very final track of the 10 main ones, Cyber God, follows a very similar formula, giving these 2 songs a little bit of unique feeling by comparison to what you get really within their 2 collective parentheses, if you really want to call it that. Now, the songs that are within that are going to employ a little bit more of the groove style that Sepultura has become a little bit known for in their post-Cavalara days. This is not something that is going to really maintain hyper-aggression, either that or a deep sense of sort of deathy metal that you would get from their earliest homes, but instead one that uses that groove sort of advantageously in order to capture some very powerful sounds and deliver some tracks that have some excellent flow to them. The groove is certainly the main word that could be used here, while mainly because these are real compositions that sort of use that to its advantage. It gives it a real sense of dynamic. It gives it a real sense of purpose. There's motion to this. It's an easy album to really flow through. But is it one that really captures all of the spirit that Sepultura can really employ in these post-Cavalara days? And the answer to that is that while this album has an exceptional level of competence, while it is a disc that certainly feels very much above the average, it's not one that really enters into that real supreme ideology. It's not one that sort of transcends itself into that upper echelon. Now, you will get a bit of variety on this with songs such as Sworn Oath moving past the 6-minute mark, and with Phantom Self really getting very close by its own regard. And then you also have a mix of tracks of shorter variety, such as I Am the Enemy, that only border the 2.5-minute mark. And the aggression is not necessarily dictated by the length that you get within the song. Instead, these veterans are able to use their songwriting to their advantage in the way in which surprise becomes a little bit of an introductory idea. However, what this band and what Machine Messiah does exceptionally well is that Sepultura does not try to make this album too much of a random fest. They don't try to blindside you with all of these different ideas. They don't attempt to really run the creative gamut, which can sound like it would be kind of a negative thing, but for a band that has gotten a little bit of criticism one way or the other whenever they've decided to sort of go outside the box a little bit with their thought process, this works favorably, considering it instead shows the band being a little bit more focused within their songwriting and collectively kind of coming together to provide a fairly decent overall experience. I think that if this would have been an album where they deviated off course a lot more, it actually would have provided as more of a distraction rather than a benefit. It would have taken a lot of real solid material, a lot of top-tier experiments in order for this album to feel kind of as solid as it is, if not better, had they decided to go with that course. So I feel that where they are and where they decided to traverse with Machine Messiah was an expert decision. It was one that was handled very well. And they didn't overindulge, which is a definite positive. But overall, some of these tracks feel like they lumber around the average to slightly above average feel. There's nothing here that really feels like it's tremendously memorable, with the exception of the different tracks like Machine Messiah. Machine Messiah just really brings in your register. It just stays up there, considering that unique way that this album really does get started. So that might actually end up being a positive more than a negative, even though some may not necessarily like that direction. I think it's one that suits the band pretty well. They could do a whole album worth of material in that direction with, intersplicings of their other sides, and it would probably do fairly well and really restore a lot of faith in this group, aside from those who are old schoolers. Overall, this is a disc that's, well, it has a score of a 19 out of 30. And you're thinking, wait a minute, where's the 100? Let's throw up this graphic. As you can see, the 15 to 20 range is one that is above average, with 0 to 5 being pure garbage, 5 to 10 being meh, 10 to 15 being average, 15 to 20 being above average, 20 to 25 being excellent, and 25 to 30 being basically God tier. You need to absolutely own this album. This is one that falls within that fringe line of above average and excellent, and it's only there primarily because while the material does not have a lot of memory attached to it, it does have a lot of solid property. The album flows very nicely and really gives you a smooth experience within your listening. It's not one that feels bogged down by distractions, either that or really has its course derailed by anything that feels weaker than any of the other songs that's on it. Everything feels very consistent on this disc, which is only working toward its advantage. But I want to know what you guys think about this album, and I also want to know what you guys think about the new ranking system. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Machine Messiah by Sepultura. My name is coverkillernation, and I'll talk to each and every one of you guys next time. We still have to talk about Black Anvil, we still have to talk about Pain of Salvation, and we may even have our first 5 Reasons video and first 5 recently released albums video of the year coming this week. So stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care.